banger? Hell yeah.
Class is in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC Guy, and TradeFly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you'll need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Piper Academy. I'm your host, Army Piper. We got a great show lined up for you today. We got CPI data, inflation, information coming in, crushing the markets, Bitcoin struggling to hold $67,000. Plus, we got Piano Matty B today as a special guest. All that and more on Piper Academy, guys. Classes in session. Let's get it. Hey, welcome to Piper Academy, guys. I am your host, Army Piper. We come at you every morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. We've got a very short window with Piano Matty B today, so we're going to go ahead and just bring him up here on the scene with all of the team, guys. What is up, Matty B, OC, TradeFly? How you guys doing? Matty, welcome to the Piper Academy.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here up in Winnipeg, Canada. You guys are in Texas, right?
I'm in Texas, TradeFly's in California, and OC Guy over there is in Cozumel, Mexico. So with you on stage, just like when we have Alex O, we've got Canada, mainland United States here, and then we've got Mexico. So we've got NAFTA on stage right now at the Academy. So
all three places I'd rather live than Canada. Maybe not California, though. I've heard some things there.
I would never, ever want to live in California.
It's not so bad.
So, Matty, we got you for a little bit today because you got to get ducked to school. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this data, and we're going to have a little conversation because we had data come in today that was not exactly fantastic. So give me a second. My stream deck is taking a second there to load, but there we go. Guys, Fear and Greed Index today coming in at 78. This is going to be much lower tomorrow. We're going to be out of extreme greed. This takes about 24 hours to take effect. So sometime later today, we'll see this switch over to a new one. Looking here today at the mining, we at 9 days, guys. 9 days to the halving of the ultimate inflation hedge, Bitcoin. And then looking here at the crypto bubbles, we're not looking too hot on the weekly. There is a lot of red on here. Even if we go to the market cap, while yes, Bitcoin is up 2.6% for the week still, not a lot of these altcoins are doing that same thing. Let's drop it down here and let's take a look. For the day, 4.2% down for the day for Bitcoin. In the past hour, getting almost a full percent down. Ethereum down 1.3%. Cardano has taken back its number 10 spot. Toncoin has moved up to number 9. And Avalanche sitting at 11, but you can see there's a sea of red here. The only things that are really up today, Unis, DAI, which is a stable coin, Toncoin, and that is about it on that side. A bunch of smaller stuff, BitSensor, Dog with Hat is down 15.2, so getting absolutely crushed. Why is that happening? We're going to look at those numbers here in a second, but right now in the past 24 hours, we've had 115,571 traders. There we go. Liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $309 million. Largest single liquidation was on Bybit. It was Bitcoin. 8.3 million. No big deal. Just $8.3 million loss on the trade. Who cares? That's not a big hit at all. This is the reason we got all of this dump today. And I talked about this on Monday. I talked about it yesterday. I'm sure you guys get tired of seeing my bearish red warning label thumbnails. I got it. But I knew this was not going to be good. I've even talked about the possibility of we could be looking at another rate hike sometime this year. This is the glide path of inflation. Core inflation month over month came in. It's supposed to be consensus and forecasted at 0.3% increase. We were previously at 0.4. We came in at that same 0.4 above the consensus and forecast. Year over year, though, This is the big one here. Year over year core inflation, we were expected to be at 3.7%, previously at 3.8. That would have been a 10% improvement if it was down at 3.7. We actually came in the same there. And if you look here at the year over year rate, this is what the Federal Reserve is watching when they look at this and they go, hey, do we need to raise rates? Do we need to lower rates? They look at this 3.2 that we were at, and they thought it was going to be at 0.2%. It actually came in 0.3%. Inflation is back. It's rearing its ugly head. Last thing to show you here before we drop Matty B and have this conversation here is this. This thing from the Kobeissi Letter, he came in and he said, breaking March CPI inflation, let's get over there, rises to 3.5%, above expectations of the 3.4%. Core CPI inflation was 3.8, above the expectation of 3.7. This is the 36th consecutive month with inflation above 3%. And if you remember right, guys, 2%. That is the Federal Reserve's target. In the first 2 month, this is the first 2 month increase on CPI inflation since September 2023. The Fed pivot is quickly disappearing. Let's jump back over to the quad chart because Matty B, you've got some interesting perspectives when you look at inflation and when you look at what Bitcoin really is. I know you're one of those people that you believe Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. So when does this change? When do we get this inflation Bitcoin, the fighter, the warrior, the revolution against the dollar? When does it stop getting affected by inflation and start being the hedge to inflation? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it actually is a hedge on inflation. If you go back in time, like wherever you purchase, let's say you purchase at $20 and it's at, or 20,000, it's at 70,000, you have beaten inflation over the past, 12 months. But this is all kabuki theater. I used to always talk about the CPI when it came out, because it was like during the bear market, what can we talk about to kind of get excitement here? We're going to see some movement, right? But as it was about 12 consecutive nothing burgers. I actually feel today's little dump was more movement than we had in the past 12 CPIs, because I call it the CPI don't care, because we all know that inflation is raging. I mean, I don't know what it's like. Well, I know what it's like in California, but in up here in Canada, it's insanity. So if anyone's sitting there thinking, oh yeah, inflation's just up a bit, it's just up a bit, they say, it's complete bullshit. I mean, you can't go to a restaurant in Winnipeg, Manitoba. You probably don't even know this city, but it's a city that exists in the heart of Canada. You go and get a burger somewhere, it's minimum $30, sans tip. You put in a tip, it's $35 and that's Canadian. So we're talking maybe 26, 27 US. And so I would expect California to be up there in the $35 burger range. But when they come in and say it's just slightly above anticipated numbers, it's complete bullshit. And I think we have departed from it. And it's the concept of investing in Bitcoin that really, I don't care about the CPI. We know what's going up. There's nothing they can do. You can't pull this train back. This train has left. CPI is going up and up and up and up. So you better be in Bitcoin or I think you're going to drown.
Absolutely. Yeah. We had this up. We talked about this guy a lot on the show. His name is the Kobeissi Letter. And looking here at one of the things he brought up, he said, while CPI is at 3.5, inflation is much higher in many basic necessities. We were just talking about this. Car insurance is up 22.2%, transportation up 10.7%, car repair up 8.2%. You can see here, food away from home is up 4.2%. This is on a national average. Obviously, you're paying, $25 for a burger in California, where, you might be paying $9 for a burger in Indiana. So, yeah, absolutely. And that data's out there. Like it's always going up more than what just the inflation number is. So, we brought up, and I just want to know your thoughts on this. We brought up earlier, I think it was Monday or it might have been last Friday, the thumbnail that we had was about that Bitcoin has still not hit a new all-time high. And if you look at the inflation number of where the $69,000 was at when Bitcoin hit at $69,000 today, that should be about $78,700 in US in order for Bitcoin to be what it was valued at. All-time value is not as high as all-time value, right? And so I was talking about that. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that that has a play? Can we take that and go, no, we still haven't hit a new all-time high. We're still under it. And now we're looking at the halving being the supply shock that sends us to the new all-time high value, not price, because I think that's what really people are missing, that all-time value versus all-time price. So.
Well, you know what it feels like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this all-time high compared to the last bull run's all-time high, it feels like when you break up with a girl back in the all-time high and you go on your merry way, and then 2 years later you get back with her and you think it's going to be as great as it was at the all-time high, and then you all of a sudden have buyer's remorse. Oh, how did I get back with this chick again? Even though everything on paper is as good as it was back then, it just doesn't feel the same. I was talking about this in my stream. It's like 69K then, 69K here. It just feels different. You know, I don't sense retail FOMO at all. I think we've taken a step back and we've just let the ETFs dog pile in, and retail is on the sidelines. And maybe, I don't know what the price to get retail back in, because maybe retail noobs, not people in the chat or you guys, they're looking at it like, oh, it's gotten away on me. 70K Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah, you were talking about that this morning on your live stream. If you guys don't follow Matty B, check him out down below in the description. All of his links are there for X and YouTube. But he was talking about that this morning. I think you have a very valid point with that, when people look at it, they look at, oh, $70,000. I missed that. Let me go throw it on, dog with hat was your example on the show. Yeah, absolutely. Rabbit with hat. Rabbit with hat. That was what it was. So now that token is going to be created, and it'll be out tomorrow, and then it will go viral, yeah, right. And we can all say it's Matty B's fault. TradeFly OC, you guys got any questions for Matty B? Because he's got to be heading out of here in about 5 minutes. I want to give you guys a chance to ask any questions you may have. And it can even be how long you played piano, whatever it is, what you guys got for him.
Yeah, man. One, thanks for coming on. It's great actually meeting you. Yeah, it's some of our followers, they talk about you. I know Dave Digital, he loves you. So it's pretty cool having you on.
The goat.
He's funny. He's always in the chat. Yeah, but yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I didn't really prep any big questions for you. So, for me, I'll be perfectly transparent with you. I haven't watched your show all that much. If you want to tell me just a little bit about what you do and about your show, just because I'm sure there's a couple people that aren't as familiar with you.
Well, I actually have a question for you, TradeFly. We're talking about California here. We're kind of making jokes. What is the current situation in California? Is it as bad as I hear it is? Because from what I hear, it's just like some sort of deserted wasteland of crazy woke laws, and it's a nightmare. Is that what it's like? Please tell me it's not like that.
Man, so do we have weird laws? Yes. Do I let them really affect me on an everyday level? Probably not so much. Like, you really gotta pull that stuff in to really let it affect your life. For me, I mean, there's little things, right? Like, I'm from Florida. I used to have a concealed carry, which was great. Now I can't have that, so that's a little thing that affects me, everyday life. But, just in terms of like prices things, like, it is more expensive here, I'll say, than some other places. Definitely more expensive than Florida, and probably Texas as well. Cost of living is substantially cheaper in those places. But at the same time, I'd say we get compensated a little bit higher in terms of pay, right? So one of the company I work for, without saying its name, like, it actually will compensate you. So, like, if you were to take the same job to Florida, you wouldn't be making as much. So, they try to offset that price a little bit, but houses are crazy expensive. But I mean, it's, the interest rate is just crushing everyone too. So it's not crazy. Like, me and Piper were laughing one day, right? Because you'll hear all these stories about California on the news, like whether it's a fire or a flood or whatever, you'll think that California's fallen off the side of the earth. But we talk about it. Piper, one time I was like, yeah, I'm down in San Diego, man. He was like, isn't that underwater right now? And I was like, I don't think so. I'm here. Like, so they give you this image of like a couple streets in downtown San Diego that are just underwater. And it's like, oh my God, San Diego is completely covered in water, but it's not always, it's the news. It's
Are you saying there's fake news? Is that what you're saying, TradeFly? That's what I heard.
I'm not saying it's fake news. It's just we'll call it exaggerated news. But I'll tell you what, some of that stuff in LA, like in the city, that was kind of wild. Like when they were having all those riots, they actually, because I'm in LA County, they put a curfew on us, and we actually had to like be in our houses like at like dark. I can't remember what the time frame was. That was a little bit interesting. That was probably the one time it set in for me, like, oh yeah, I am in California, huh? So, but yeah, it's not too crazy. I generally like it. I can go to the mountains one day, and the next day I can go to the beach, and that part of it I really do enjoy.
Hey Piper, after this bull run and all your speculative meme coins go through the roof and make you a multi gazillionaire, let's start a dueling piano bar in Austin. I know they have one, but let's do another one.
It's called I think it's Howl at the Moon, maybe. I think it is. No, that's in San Antonio, but yeah.
Pete's American Bar or something like that.
That's it, Pete's American Bar. Yep, it's a pretty good bar, but I think we need Piano Matty B there, because if you guys don't know, on Friday and Saturday on that link down below on YouTube, there's actually a Friday and Saturday night show that Matty B does with Dan, I believe his name is Dan, and it is a
handsome and charismatic Kyle Mack.
Oh, that's it. That's Kyle. That's it. Yeah. So they do a dueling piano show, and you guys need to go check it out. It's a lot of fun. The audience is really involved. The chat is really involved. It's the greatest integration of nightclub life and crypto and YouTube I've ever seen. So it's the crypto community is just partying it up on Friday night virtually.
So we have a deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. Let's do it. That's what I did for 12 years before I joined the Army back in 2001. I was a restaurant nightclub manager. My dad owned nightclubs my whole life. So I know liquor license, liquor laws, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, I got to drive my little boy to Duke. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, it was great having you on, Matty B. And I'll get in touch with you. We'll come over and do some stuff on your show, and you are always welcome here at the Academy, man. Always. So thanks for joining today.
Nice meeting you guys.
Great meeting you, man. Take care.
Later, brother. So there you go, guys. Piano Matty B had to hop out really quick. Dropped in just to talk about that, and he had some interesting points. One of your guys' thoughts on where he said, Bitcoin is actually already becoming that hedge. It's just people haven't realized it yet. It doesn't. The design is not dependent on people's belief in it. The design is in the code. It just needs people to believe in it. That's pretty much the premise of where he went with that. So what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, if you take it straight from a price perspective, it has become a hedge, right? Inflation is up, but the price of Bitcoin has substantially risen. It's so volatile. It's really hard to gauge where that is at this point for me. Because one of my big concerns is when we were dealing with inflation and, everything was pulling back, Bitcoin pulled back a lot too, but that was also in conjunction with these exchanges going down, with FTX, with all that fiasco. So I think we're probably at that moment of getting a little bit of clarity in terms of like, hey, there's institutional investment. And now like inflation is still, relatively high. It's still an issue. And now we're kind of seeing what Bitcoin's going to do. So I think this is going to be our first moment where we're going to be like, yeah, this is exactly what we thought it was. But we have to have that stabilization with all these exchanges and, all that nonsense. We can't have any of this crazy FUD again, bringing down the market and people getting scared out. So, I think it's kind of TBD, but I think it's trending. I think it's trending in that direction for what it was meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely. OC, your thoughts on that real fast, and we'll get into some charts and take a look here, see what we're seeing.
Absolutely. You want to see which one is the actual hedge against the dollar? Legos. Have you guys watched this continuing range of Legos and the prices that they're going for? Man, if you do take a look at the chart, you'll see that if you would have bought last year all of the Lego packs or sets. No, I don't have it pulled up.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, yeah, that's fine. That's fine because
It's
it's
like
not
she looking
chart,
at Legos.
and you look at how much you would have been selling them right now, or they're going for, you will be, up way much more than Bitcoin and any other asset. And I mean, I believe that yes, just like TradeFly mentioned, if we're talking about strictly about price, yes, it's a hedge, but I mean, of course, it's gonna be also volatile because it's a very, very new asset. If you see the market capitalization, I mean, we can see why is that volatile, right? If we compare it to something like Forex, we compare it to something like just even Apple, or even Apple and Amazon all combined. So, what is the real hedge against the dollar? And I believe that there is not one single answer here, neither a simple answer, right? I do believe that something that can be printed and constrained at will, it's gonna have multiple hedges, right? Something that is not easily, or at least able to replicate and not also constrain at will, that will be something out of value. And also, we need to make sure that we understand that the world runs on the dollar, the US dollar, right? And if we lose jobs or we have more jobs, of course, that is going to be a fundamental. And whether it's the hedge or not the hedge, fundamentals move the value on the markets. So I believe that
Absolutely.
have a retracement. I mean, we will have multiple hedges, yeah, against the dollar. And Bitcoin, for me, it's my favorite. Maybe
Yep.
next one will be Legos. How
That's why
about
we're
you?
here, because we love Bitcoin. So shout out to everybody that's in the chat that joined over from Piano Matty B side. Yeah, TradeFly, you gotta get some exposure to the Piano Matty B world, man. I've
Yeah.
been on multiple times with around the
Homeboy is knocking
blockchain
me
with
over
them.
here.
And what's that?
He's knocking me. He's like, he don't even know it. I was like, I know his show, man. I was giving him an opportunity to talk about it. It's what you do.
No, Matty B, and I, we've been talking for a little over about a year. Started back with around the blockchain, but he's a good guy. He's got a great show. So if you guys haven't seen it, again, go down and check the description down below. Fantastic content that he does. But let's go ahead and jump into Bitcoin, guys, and let's talk about that. Here's where we are with Bitcoin right now. I know that looks like we had this horrible pullback and crash and dump and everything else, guys. We're still holding right here on this golden pocket. If you guys haven't seen this and you're new here, this is my master chart for Bitcoin. It is a Fibonacci channel going all the way back to the history of Bitcoin here. And yeah, right now, we are looking very strong into the golden pocket, halving coming up here again in about 9 days. So we got about a little over 1 week. We're going to be pushing into that halving. I do think that we could possibly be pulling back to about $56,000, giving us a nice bounce right off of the top of this platinum pocket here. That would be a very bullish support level for me. But let's go down to some smaller time frame. Take a look. We did lose this triangle. And guys, go ahead and get altcoins ready unless you have something very pertinent on Bitcoin. Go ahead and get your altcoins ready. If you guys want to see any altcoin TA, let us know in the chat what you got. We'll get it in there. But taking a look here, guys, we do have the break back down into that symmetric triangle. We are fighting right now with 2 points of support. One of those 2 points of support, well, I'm glad you asked, OC. Check it out. We are hitting right here on the dynamic reactor, and we are trying to pull that candle up and close that on that very powerful moving average from Chart Prime. And this little dash red line right here, guys, that is the point of control for this entire period of time. So we lost, but actually had a rejection and did not even get really up through it with the close. That value area high, that typically means you're going to pull back to that point of control. If we lose that point of control, I'm going to be watching for us to come right down here to the value area low. That's coming in at 64,700. But as of right now, we are holding that point of control in that dynamic reactor, 2 massive support levels fundamentally and technically for Bitcoin to be sitting at. TradeFly, you got your heat map? Let's go ahead and pull that up real fast if you have that, and let's check that out. And then let's go into some altcoins. Guys are letting us know there in the chat what alts they want to see. So what do you got on there?
Cool. Yeah, I'll keep it real quick. I got on the weekly just so we can kind of have a zoomed out look. And we talked about this area, and I said what the bias was. The bias was down, and that's kind of where we headed. And that was in conjunction with the narrative of the news, the data that was coming out. Kind of Piper was talking about that. So I pretty much piggybacked on it. And I was like, yeah, I think we're probably going to head towards the downside. And there's more liquidity down here. You can see the hot spots. They're pretty clear. I mean, all the way from about where we're at, and we'll say down to about 66,450. There's a lot of liquidity in there for the maker to get his. And that would kind of line up too, right? You see some areas of support here at around, we'll say 66 as well. So yeah, I don't see it, being outside the realm of it coming down and wicking down and clearing all of this out before it moves back to the upside.
Awesome. Looks like we got AERO, VARA, Aptos, and NOS in the chat here. If one of you guys, it's here in our Discord chat. I shared it to you guys. If one of you guys want to grab one of those, let me know what you're going to grab, and then we'll get to those. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pull up Aptos. And then we got NOS, AERO, and VARA that is available. So let's kick over. OC, do you have one of those ready to go? Do you want to? You want me to go ahead and start with Aptos?
I can do NOS.
All right, go for it.
Let's perfect. Let's
Yeah.
pull it up right here.
Naked charts. Time to get clean. Let's go.
Perfect. There we go. So I was looking at NOS. In fact, I was looking for a possible very juicy movement. Did not play it out. Nonetheless, it did got us some money here. So remember that I was looking at this triangular pattern and looking also for a breakout in a following pattern like this. So we will start pushing on into that pattern. I draw my trend line here. It's not about the breakout. It's about the retest. Jump in on that long position. And as soon as I took my first entry point, took early profits, moved my stop to entry, and then when it went down, it just took me out at no loss. It went right to my support area right here. We make a little bounce, and then I forgot about it. So let's just clear this up once again and see what we have going on at this point. So far, I don't see my dynamic reactor. It is because it's very, very weak right here, entangling with the price action. For me, that usually is a good indicator that I should be going to a higher time frame, and this higher time frame is not looking that good, right? I mean, so what should we be looking for? Well, big supports, because at this point, and I do like NOS, I will be looking for some support areas. Right away, I can see right here that we have this little movement. It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. That retest actually pairs very, very nicely with our dynamic reactor. We have already a reversal. We're constraining or we're reducing on those clouds, which means that we could be having near or close to us a big movement coming up. Usually when we are at the bottom, that movement is going to be to the upside. I'm not saying that we're going to be exploding, but what I am saying that this is a good DCA entry. Remember, DCA usually doesn't go with leverage, usually goes for your holdback, and you're willing to hold it for a little bit longer time, right? Then I'm going to be throwing here a couple of my support and resistances, and the next entry point for me for DCAing, it's a very, very, very clear channel right here where I have two order blocks, and also I have two major support right here. So what am I going to be doing? If I enter here, which by the way, I will be entering here for a DCA entry, and then I bounce to the upside to the zero line. At the zero line, most likely I'm going to be reaching all the way to the soft area with this resistance, taking some profits. I know it's for the long run, but remember, this is daily. And also letting it either run to the upside, which I don't think it's going to do, but rather bounce back down, find support, make a double bottom, and then off we go. I will not be repurchasing here. I will only be entering back right down here or at a breakout and retest right back here for the long run to keep moving upwards. If you're in a lower time frames, like 1 hour, 15 minutes, just be careful, because we are pretty bearish. And if we are looking like we want to do a change here, a bounce, but we still have empty space all the way down here. Yes, we have bullish divergences, but there's nothing to support that movement. So maybe we could have a break of this pattern, going to the soft order block and continue our way down to the next support area. Just be careful on the lower time frames. That's what I got on NOS.
Awesome, appreciate it. Do you have something pulled up, TradeFly? What you got for us?
I do, yeah. I got ONDO pulled up. This is for Crypto Pollo, so he's been talking about this a couple of days.
Crypto Pollo in the house.
Right now. I think he's club. Yeah, I think he's getting close to his stop loss here. I think he might have added to his trade. So right now, man, looking at it, you are near the 0.5 on the fib as well as the 200 SMA, and this is on the 4 hour just for your essay. The only thing, I mean, looking at it, dude, it's honestly not the greatest. So you see the dynamic reactor, we're getting underneath of that. So that's going to act as resistance. It's turning red. And then you see a trend of lower highs. And now, unfortunately, it's starting to, it's close. It hasn't closed, but it's getting to that point where it might think about setting a lower low here. So it just depends on where this closes. I'm going to be honest with you. I think really this one is going to be really impacted by the rest of the market. So you're at an area of support. If the rest of the market can hold up, I think you might be all right here in this area. But I don't know where your stop loss is at. I'm checking out the chat now. But I would probably, just looking at a horizontal area for you here, look somewhere in about this range right here. That's pretty much my poop line. Like if it gets under that, I think you're going to probably go all the way back down to the golden pocket. And that would line up with where there was a previous area of resistance. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, man. I can't really for sure tell you like, hey, it's going to hold. Everything looks bearish daily, 4 hours, 60 minutes. Prime score is a 1. Nothing is really looking ideal where it's sitting at right now. The saving is that you have the 200 SMA on the 4 hour as well as the 0.5 on the fib. So you have an area of resistance. It's just a matter if it's going to hold or not. Yeah, man, that's pretty much what I got for you on ONDO. Let me actually look at the oscillator here. So it is showing a little divergence on prime oscillator. So, you know, that's good, right? You got the reversal indicator here as well. So there's hope. That's about what I can say, man. So again, I wouldn't hold on any lower than this. If it gets lower than this, it's going down in the golden pocket. I'm pretty sure of that. And then if it does hold up, obviously you know where to look on the top side. So yeah, man, you're riding support right now. Good luck to you. Is about what I got for you. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, I want to make a statement real fast before you also. Hey, bro, if it hits your stop loss, it's not a bad trade. That's why we put stop losses, or at least have a mental stop loss. If it hits this, I'm going to risk management. It's part of the risk management plan, dude. So yeah, hopefully you can get some rebound here, but it is looking pretty weak. And if we do not hold above that 50%, we are likely heading to the golden pocket on that chart right there. So that's just typically how it runs. So I'm going to jump over here on Aptos. Taking a look at Aptos right now, and I'm going to try to keep this over to the screen because I was told by, I believe it was Dave Digital, that he's got chat on 1/3. The 1/3 of his screen has the chat on it. He's watching on his TV. So when we are all the way over to the side, he can't really see it. He needs it over this way. So there you go. I got you, man. We will accommodate our viewers here at the Piper Academy. It's what we do. Take a look at Aptos here. We do have a little Fibonacci's here. I ran this from this point down here where we really got this pump and movement up. And you can see the sequencing is playing out really clean here on these levels. The golden pocket played out really well, the platinum pocket. So this tells me this is probably the right sequencing for the fibs. Right now, we are fighting to hold the golden pocket. That's where we have wicked down to perfectly on that $11.57 mark and are trying to pull up. If it doesn't hold here on Aptos, we could easily be looking at 786 for the target here. That 786 is coming in at $10.06. One thing that I do want to point out, if we take a look and we just look at the fixed range volume profile, we have lost the value area high. If we lose the value area high, we do typically go back down to the point of control, and that's coming all the way in at $9.17. Put that fib back on. It's right in the middle of the platinum pocket here, which is what I said. If we don't hold golden pocket, we typically will run to the platinum pocket. That's where that point of control is at. Be watching for that. And then let's go in and let's add in some oscillators here, see what we're looking at there. It does look like we could be getting that bounce here in the golden pocket because as of right now, we are getting the oversold blocks that are printed, but we have not actually printed that OS and we have not gotten that uptrend arrow yet. We're starting to get a little curvature there, but I'm afraid that this might be a duck head, a reverse goose head. This could be going into a goose head and then coming back in lower at the end there. RSI is not giving us very many small candles here. They're starting to get a little more squat, but I would really like to see them to go flat, telling us, hey, this is about to reverse on the RSI, meaning reversal here. I think you're going to see some more downside on Aptos if I had to make a call on this right now, where this is at. So that is what I have on there. Let's look at the dynamic reactors and stuff. Yeah, we're below the dynamic reactor. That is a bearish thing. On the 12-hour, below the dynamic reactor, our prime score is sitting at a 1. So yeah, as of right now, downward trend is what is in the algorithm. It is reading that we have downward trend and continuation likely. So let's kick it over to OC and see what you got there, brother.
Absolutely, I have VARA. So VARA is a little bit a short story itself. Basically, a little bit of TA wouldn't be, on higher time frames wouldn't be that possible. But don't worry, because we do have a strategy here. So this is for the fundamentalist of VARA. Like if you like VARA, you think it's gonna perform well, and you're not just in for the trade, but you also want to catch a pump. Well, then that's where this strategy comes in. So look at the how is it moving here, and I need to clean my face on my screen. There we go, perfect. So at this point, you see that we have a pattern here: pumping, dropping slowly, 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 and guess what might be coming up, right? So a couple of entry points will be at the very, very base, or at least what we see most of the things just finding support, most of the price action finding support. So for me, it would be somewhere around this area for long time entries, and then for scalping, well, scalping on the 4 hours or trying to catch those pumps, I will be jumping in the dynamic reactor, setting my stop loss below my entry point right down here. And remember, guys, this is not financial advice. So for example, somewhere around there, push it maybe just slightly below the previous high and set my stop loss below my accumulation area right there. So just be careful on these areas, because we don't have a guaranteed pump. Nonetheless, it has the possibility to repeat the same repetitive pattern that we've been seeing so far on this asset. Let me just go ahead also and start throwing my indicators. As you can see, we're still bullish in here because our prime resistance, it is green. Again, this will also be looking and used as a support. So there you go. You have a possible entry soft support. I usually go above that area, slightly above that area for my entries. So that's my take. And then for my support and resistances, let's just wait for it to load. Let's see if I can make it perfect reappear. And what I'm seeing, it is that my big support areas are right here on the dynamic reactor. Why? Because we have low volume, big reactions, low volume, big reactions here with 2 support lines, and of course right now dynamic reactor. So your entry per se, it's already gone, but that's fine. I will be looking at the next entry zone to be somewhere between this area right here, and if you want an early entry, maybe between this area right here. Just remember that if you get here and it keeps going down, you should not be panicking, and your stop loss should be considering that movement to the downside, right? So far, it's not looking terrible. It's not looking amazing. It's just doing its thing. And I like things that do its thing and they don't care about anything else, because that give it a little bit of predictability. So that's what I got on VARA US. And by the way, right now it's only available on Coinbase.
Huh. Interesting. TradeFly, what you got for us, brother?
Cool, man. So this is what I was talking to you about pre-show. I know we didn't get a whole lot of discussion on it, but what I wanted to show you guys is I went to the Heikin-Ashi candles on Bitcoin, kind of going back to like old school me. I've gotten away from a little bit of that. I like zooming out. You guys know this, but I used to love using the Heikin-Ashi candles, and I've gotten away from that a little bit. And the reason I like them is they are super powerful when you're looking at them on the weekly, the daily. Like you can almost use them as a reversal and trend at times. Now, when it's consolidating, it may not be, it may not be as effective, but when you're having those big run ups and those big run downs, you can see this, right? So you can see clearly, look how long that it stays white on this run up here on the Heikin-Ashi candles. All right. So I'll take the blue one that's right there and I'll just go to the bottom. That's 50% move just based on the Heikin-Ashi candles on the weekly. And then I'll take this right here. So white candle to the first blue one. another 50% move before it actually flipped on you. So it's a very simple strategy. And what I did is just to prove kind of its effectiveness. Now, of course, Bitcoin has to be moving. If it's sitting in a range, this is going to be no bueno. But I just took a random time here. Like I was like, I'm not going to take the high because that would inflate the numbers too much. And then I'm not going to take the high over here because that would inflate the numbers too much. I was like, let me just take the middle. So what I did is I back tested. All right. And this is important for you guys. Like whenever you want to validate something or kind of teach yourself something, I did every opportunity where it switched colors. All right. So when it went blue, I went short. When it went white, I went long. So you can see all the numbers here, percentage wise, how they added up. I started with $1,000 in price, just back testing from here to here, ended up with $2,287. And that would be 128% increase, just by going long and going short on the Heikin Ashi. That's it. Nothing else, no indicators. That's just plain Jane right there, right? And then if you were to go all the way up and take this all the way up to the high, you'd be looking at over 200% gains just by using that strategy alone. So obviously not financial advice. Don't just go out and say, oh, he said use Heikin Ashi all the time. But, something for you to take note of, something for you to look at, take in. It definitely will help you with like seeing when the trend is flipping. It could be further validation for you as well. So just wanted to point that out to you. I do have a channel I've kind of identified as well. It looks like it is honoring it for support and resistance as it's going up and right. Obviously, the trend is up and right, so that's kind of the way I drew the pattern. So looking at that, one of the big things that I did notice, though, is the median line here is we haven't been able to close over top of it. So I would keep an eye on this area right here, obviously in the all-time high, but right about here, we haven't closed over this median line. So that's going to be a very important area for us, whether we're either going to get rejected or if we break through. Definitely keep an eye on that. Currently, you can say it's at about 70,300. That's obviously going to go up and right with time, but keep an eye on it. It is retesting it over and over and over again. If you do come down here, though, we are getting overbought, which is expected in an uptrend. It's just, what does this do? Does it stay up here and continue to make these waves kind of like that? Then I would expect it probably to break through. But anyways, just a quick little session I had for you guys that I wanted to show you because I spent a lot of time on that yesterday, just kind of back testing and trying to come up with the numbers.
Oh, awesome. So I got a little something here that I just saw. This is just coming out on news. It says it was out a while ago, but well, no, on the 10th, but it came out GMT, 1358 GMT. So this just came out on my chart here. Let me show you on the chart what I'm seeing here. Can you switch for me? Come on, Stream Deck. There we go. Coinbase adopts Apple Pay for crypto purchases amid market slowdown. This is kind of a big deal. This literally just dropped like 15 minutes ago, and I got it over here. So let's go ahead and jump over here and take a look at what I'm seeing here on this article so I can zoom it in for you. But it says Coinbase adopts Apple Pay for crypto purchases amid market slowdown. And the big deal about this is, according to Coinbase, enabling Apple Pay provides users with a more secure and private method of purchasing cryptocurrencies. The exchange emphasized that when transactions are made using Apple Pay, card numbers are not stored on the device or Apple servers. Instead, it's a unique device account number. So that's pretty interesting. Let's jump out here to Trio Cam. I'll go in and check out AERO, but what do you guys think? Is that decent news there, or is that a so what that Apple Pay is now being integrated into Coinbase? That just came out. So
that's interesting. It's real interesting because there's been a lot of I don't know. Apple has kind of been pushing off the whole crypto move so far. So they're not going to get added to Coinbase without their authorization, right? Like that doesn't just happen. There's got to be some kind of deal there, which means Apple's starting to come around. This could be very, very bullish, to be honest with you, because if you integrate crypto into Apple itself, especially as a payment method, that's going to be big time, man. Because that phone itself is in the hands of what, half the people in the U.S.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. OC, your thoughts on that? And then I'll jump into AERO. We'll take a look at some more TA.
Absolutely. Despite we all know that the obvious choice it is Android, well, we need to acknowledge that Apple has a big following. I see.
Hold
TradeFly
on.
just
Hold on a
cracking
second. Oh,
that.
hold on a second. Let me see. Can I go to a two-man scene here? No, it's on trio. You're lucky. You're lucky,
Yeah,
OC.
guys, I'm only Android guys and PC guys. I need to shield a little bit things here. Bear with me, work with me. So, but yeah, I mean, I believe that. I mean, we need to acknowledge that Apple is a big, huge. I mean, a company, right? It has a ton of followers. It does have some great ecosystem and products, but I believe that the value in Apple is is their services,
Awesome.
and also their computers, and that has to do with what they're offering, which is Apple Pay, right? So I believe that it's going to have an influx on how much people are willing now to use it because it's just integrated within the ecosystem and it just works, right? And that's something that when I was used to be an Apple kid, I mean, I loved that. And I really remember that whenever I just grab a Mac, it just worked. So I believe that's going to be a big deal about it. It's not going to be a game changer, but definitely will be something that is going to push the easiness or how easy things get in crypto, especially on Coinbase. So I believe that is a smart move. I'm not that excited. I mean, I would not be using it again. I'm right now an Android guy. So yeah, everybody with their own preference, right? But
There you
definitely a
go.
must.
I
Cool.
mean, it's another step towards adoption, right? We got institutional investment. Apple's in now. Like, it's just another step towards adoption, and
It's true, very true.
key.
Shout out to French Toaster. French Toaster, he wanted to do a tinfoil hat emoji and then realized he didn't have it because his membership had expired. And then he got his membership and then he gifted a membership. And that gifted membership went to Dave Digital. So welcome to the alumni members group here, Dave Digital and French Toaster. We appreciate you, bro. He said, "Yep, Android all day. We won't hold that against you, French. You're good, Frenchie. You're good." Let's jump over into AERO here, guys. I'm looking at two things here on AERO. One, I'm on a 15-minute, just so you guys are tracking, because I don't have a lot of history on this. It is a newer-ish token on the exchanges, so I don't have the one with the longest history. Couldn't even find it. But looking at this on a 15-minute right now, we do have this nice little wedge pattern that we have going here. And you can see it's played pretty cleanly, but another trick you can use is you can come over here and you can grab this thing called a regression trend. You can click it and then you just grab the area that you want it to be in and it will throw on this little channel for you. You can use that to trade on also. But right now it does look like we have upside coming. I don't know that we're going to break below this. And if we do, watch for that to be the support. But what I'm watching is this. On the oscillator, we do have the uptick. That little momentum dot has printed there. That is bullish. And look at the angle that we have on this. Now, keep in mind, we hit the zero line here before, and that was when this was going sideways, and it just dropped when we hit that zero line on the oscillator. But right now, we've got a strong RSI. We've got a strong movement up. We printed the OS. There's a nice angle on that ribbon. We had the twist of the ribbon right there, the little flip of the ribbon, as OC would say. And right now, we are getting a bounce off of that. If we get through this dynamic reactor, very likely heading up to about $1.93. That would be a quick scalp setup there on AERO if you guys were looking at what to do there. So Crypto Pollo just used a member for 1 month. Cum laude, he said 1 cent away from break even on ONDO. That he used his super chat from his membership. So there you go. And then my goodness, Crypto Pollo just gifted 5 memberships. We got Mark Dutch with 1, Brakoshi No Dinero, Cimarron, Mr. Z, and Clay the Great. Bro, Clay the Great, always glad to have you in our membership community here, and great to have you in the chat. He's always around. I see him over with the bros all the time. So shout out to Crypto Pollo though, man. Cluck cluck. We need to get a cluck cluck sound effect in here. That and I love gold. OC, we got about 9 minutes. I need you guys to give me some rapid fire TA on some alts because I haven't seen us get anything new. So let's go jump over to OC's chart. OC, give us some. You got PYTH network up there. It looks like. Let's go.
Absolutely. I see somebody also comment on this one, and I want to get something really close here and answer a comment here. It says, Weeks 589. All right, this is a great channel, but you aren't a bouncy curly 21-year-old lady, so I gotta must say. So I don't know about you guys, but if you get away a little bit of your charts, start closing your eyes slightly bit and twist your head, you see the curly hair right here, you see the handsome guy right here, and you see the smart guy right here. And if you think that we're a chick, then you got it all completed. So it is just like dividing our strengths in here. So, all right, I have PD here, and it's only 30 minutes. I was looking at possible hedging strategy here. It did not play it out. And also, guys, this is important. This is what I always talk about, the zero line. This could have, and very much almost is, my first stop loss of the season. Almost. And what is that? Because I was looking at this channel, it was already at support right down here. Let me zoom in at this area right here, and you'll see the right at support at the order block. But what happened with my oscillator? Remember, I always said about the break of the zero line right down here, not breaking, going flat. I was looking at a possible dot heading hit, already has started flipping back down, so the dot head did not play it out. And then what happened? It is not about the breakout, it's about the retest, closing that trade right at, look at that, I mean, come on, like almost was my first stop out of the season, going into profits, basically non-profit. Why? Because the fees it me alive on that one. And yes, it was a little bit of loss on couple of cents, but nothing major, as I closed right here on the green, then went and continued its way down. What am I looking at this area? Remember, I'm not that much into shorting at this point, so I'd rather just wait it out and then look for a repositioning myself. So look at going right to the order block right down here, and then just waiting for a double bottom pattern in here, maybe slight movement with a double bottom like that, and that will basically define with a higher prime score, and also a higher consolidation score, and another bullish diversions that I'm gonna be at the bottom, and I will be applying my hedge strategy. So whatever it goes, remember, once I'm hedging it, I'm on the golden area, and I'm not gonna be losing at all. Why? Because one's gonna get stopped out, and the other one's gonna continue earning money, despite I keep adding and extracting as the range continues. So that's what I got on PYTH. Just be careful, was pretty bearish. Nonetheless, looking for that double bottom pattern.
All right, TradeFly, what you got, brother?
Right on. I got the Soul Train ready.
The Soul Train. Let's go.
I got it up. I haven't done that in a while. All right, so got it on the daily, just kind of zoomed out. We've obviously seen a pretty big pullback. I think some of that's fuzz. Some of that is it got really overextended. I mean, it got up to 200. That was kind of the target area. You can see that I had that in pink, and I had that well before it ever got up there. And I didn't even adjust it. I wanted to leave it there as evidence that 200 was kind of my psychological number that I drew in the sand. And, you know, it's looking at it on the hourly, the 4 hour, it's calm, bearish. I would agree with that. Daily still bullish, right? Because if you look at the trend, overall, it is still a bullish trend. Problem is, we're starting to flirt with danger, right? Because we're starting to look like we want to set a series of lower highs and lower lows. It's a trend. You're going to hear me keep saying it because a lot of the market, understand, like besides some of the meme coins and some of the AI projects and some of the tokens that are just outliers, the market roughly moves together, right? So you're going to see a trend throughout this where sensitive mouse there. All right. You're going to see a pretty similar trend is basically what I'm getting at. So
it's because it lives in California. It's okay.
Yeah. All right. So, but we are at an area of support. All right, and that's a horizontal level of support that actually goes way back left on the chart, as well as you saw it find support here, and that is at about 162. So if that breaks down, and there is little confluence as well. All right, because that lines up with the 382 on the fib. It also lines up with the 50 SMA moving average. So there's a couple things that are, you know, it's all lining up. There's hope. All right, there's hope that this will hold up just like ONDO, but it's all dependent on the rest of the market. But also with SOL right now, just understand that there are some like FUD narratives that are that could have an impact on SOL. So keep that into your scan is what I'll say. Right now, let's go ahead and look at the oscillators here, and those don't look ideal. So to be honest, it's trending down and right. Let's look at the 4 hour to see if there's any positivity here with this move down. And
well, it does look like you might have a green dot printing soon on market cipher B there. And you do have an uptrend, but that is definitely looking like a reverse goose head on the oscillator, which means possible more downside. So
that's kind of, I don't have a lot of faith in this, but it could hold up. It's obviously the trend right now. Short term is down and right. And that's all confirmed here. But just for everyone's essay, this is not market cipher B. All right. I'm a cheapie. All right. This is the VMC
Vu
cipher
Manchu.
B.
That is the Vu Manchu free version. Yes.
It's free. Okay. Just so you know.
Free 99.
If I gave you anything today, if you like market cipher, VMC cipher B, it's free, baby. So go check it out. There you go. There's my alpha for the day.
All right. I've got one thing left here before we talk it out. This is coming out from Kobeissi Letter. Give it a second to load because for some odd reason, my Stream Deck is being very slow today. Guys, breaking interest rate futures are now pricing in only 2 interest rate cuts for the year. Do I have there we go. Perfect. Only 2. This is the first time that the markets are pricing in less rate cuts than the Federal Reserve is. Just 4 months ago, markets saw 6 to 8 rate cuts in 2024, with cuts beginning in March. Odds of a rate cut in June are down from 60% average from the CPI report to 22% now. That is for the June period, the June FOMC. And then Fed Chair Powell's victory speech in December will go down in history as one of the worst Fed calls of all time, just as bad as inflation is transitory. So markets have removed 4 rate cuts in 4 months. We're now looking at only 2, according to the market futures. So, higher for longer, guys. It is a thing. Higher for longer. So that's what we got going on there. Fellas, we got about 1 minute. You got anything for the people on the way out? OC TradeFly.
Absolutely,
as always, it's great.
Sorry, your turn.
Go ahead, man. Right. You know what? I'm letting you go first.
Thank you. I heard Piper say OC. I just went crazy, and the guys, thank you so much for joining today. Hey, there we go. What side is it? Double.
Virtual 5s. There we go.
Yes. Guys, thank you so much for joining today. Let's go rate another server, and also remember to hit that like button, because if you do, the price of electricity will go down. This a huge fat 2 cents. So don't believe me, try it yourself. Hit the like button and see price of electricity go down. Turning it back to you, TradeFly.
Yeah. You know how electricity goes down? Wire it the way you did. I saw that. You got spaghetti wires. All right. So anyways, everyone, just want to say goodbye. You guys have a great day. It's been real. It's time for us to get out of here. But hey, as always, if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, notification bells, all that good stuff. Love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.
Awesome. And hey, guys, check out everybody's X over there. You can follow everybody on X. Don't forget to follow Piano Matty B. All of his links are down in the description below. And guys, thanks for joining us today on Piper Academy. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets. If you're new here, welcome to the Piper Academy. We'll see you tomorrow. And as always, trade safe and use a stop loss.
I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall off. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. TradeFly, get the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to project dime. And if you like the visual powered by Chart Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. Sound off.
To get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!